Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. And if this isn't a nostalgia trip, I don't know what is. Yes, folks, after almost 3 years now, we are finally continuing Highschool DxD Spirit of Vengeance. What if Issei was the Ghost Rider? Season 5. For those of you who are new, don't know, this series is one of the oldest series in the anime Marvel universe. This is one of the stories that was the foundation for everything that's happened ever since. And to come full circle, essentially, this was the first story in the Defenderverse. Officially, this is the first story in the Defenderverse. Before What If Miles Morales was Sukuna's vessel, before all the other stories that we've done in the later part of 2024, this was the first. And like a lot of you know, originally this wasn't supposed to be a multiverse thing. It kind of became that over time. And so to actually be coming back to this series after so long, I'm really excited. I am doing something original. This is a completely original story. This is an original arc, saga, the whole 9 yards. But I do hope you'll enjoy it. I've put a lot of work into making this story since, I'll be honest, given season 5, maybe a season 6, that's probably going to be where I stop with this series. But who knows? If it picks up in popularity, maybe there might be more original stories for me to write, to pull from the mythos of the Ghost Rider. So we'll just have to see and play it by ear. But all in all, I'm really excited to get back into this series. It's been so long, and I hope for a lot of my fans, for a lot of you guys who enjoy this, I hope you guys will be happy with what's to come with season 5. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. As always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Lady Mephisto and Danny Ketch stood in the foyer of her mansion as Issei disappeared with the man known as Loki, the trickster god from another dimension, now claimed to work for an organization known as the TVA. Of course, Lady Mephisto had seen this in a vision of her rider saving the world, the multiverse. And now that vision had finally come to pass. As Loki explained, what would be an unequivocal amount of time for them if they survived would only be mere moments. And much as Loki kept his promise, it had only been but just a few minutes before Issei had returned. But he had changed. To them, hardly any time had passed at all. But for Issei, he had been on the journey of a lifetime. Lady Mephisto would invite him to sit and to regale her with the tales of his journey through the multiverse. As Issei's story came to an end, even Danny found all of this to be hard to believe. So you're saying that Loki from another dimension rounded up you and a whole bunch of other misfits to fight against some Scarlet Witch? Yeah, that's about the gist of it, Issei said. So, is that it? I've done everything you've asked. I avenged your son, defeated Blackheart, stopped the Deadites, even fulfilled your prophecy. You returned my parents' souls. Yes, they reside in peace. Though I never intended to harm them, Issei. You know that. But what was the point of all this? Issei asked. If this was supposed to be my destiny, if I'm supposed to do all this, Then why with the threatening, with the beatdowns, with the coercion? Because destiny oftentimes are avoided by many. I had to ensure that you would play your role. You're quite the manipulator, you know that? I've been told. But Issei, Lady Mephisto said, you saved my son's soul, Nicholas. And for that, I am grateful. You have done a fine deed as my rider. And now, I grant you your freedom. So what? Am I no longer the Ghost Rider? Come on, kid, you know that's not how that works. Once you receive the blessing of the spirit of vengeance, it always stays with you. However, the title of being the Ghost Rider, well, what, you have to find someone else? It would appear so. You have fulfilled your end of the contract, and now I must fulfill mine. You no longer have to be my rider, but the power is with you. With it, you are free to do as you wish. Issei had a lot to ponder now. The power of the Ghost Rider would now stay with them, but he no longer had the obligation or responsibility that came with being a Ghost Rider. He still remembered that night, the night that everything changed, when he and Irina crashed in his car and he was chosen. So many battles, so many lessons that were taught along the way, and now it led him to this point. He knew that once he stepped down from his role, someone somewhere would have to take on that duty. If I step down, Issei said, you'll just find someone else. It's only natural. There were riders that came before you, and there will be riders that will come long after you're gone. But that's only when I decide to end it. Issei, Lady Mephisto said, a stern look in her golden eyes, her hair long flowing down the back of her neck, a darkness that shimmered like that of a raven's feather. Her body hugged by the sleek red dress that she wore and the heels under her feet. You don't have to take on this burden, Issei. You have fulfilled your role as the rider. But who says that has to end here? I mean, I got a good thing going, don't I? Why do I have to give that up? Being a Ghost Rider ain't for the faint of heart. When you're in this business long enough, it wears on you. And after everything you've done, you have no reason to stay in. If you're worried that I'm just going to go off and find someone else, that's where you're wrong. I do hope that we can continue to work together, Issei. You will always be a Ghost Rider. It doesn't mean that I'm looking for a replacement right now. No, I won't be looking for one for a while. I do hope that I can still count and depend on you. All I'm doing is granting you your own autonomy. You no longer answer to me. We are no longer a boss and employee, but instead I would like us to be partners. You have earned that and so much more. I see. So we're just restructuring what we already were, Issei said. I don't think that's a bad thing. And yeah, I'll still be your rider. I'm counting on it. With that, Issei would return home. Everyone was waiting for him. Of course, Once you've lived through the things that Issei has lived through, the battles, the fate of the world, the multiverse, suddenly things like math class become completely irrelevant. Of course, the members of the Occult Research Club, Issei's friends, they had noticed the change in Issei. He became more relaxed, as if all of the tension that had been on his shoulders for so long was finally starting to melt off. Hell, Issei had even started leering his eyes towards women again, enjoying a nice long look from a distance. Of course, he wasn't the horny perv that he used to be, but he could appreciate a woman with a fine figure. Hell, if the circumstances had been different, maybe he'd even give Lady Mephisto a shot. And who knows, maybe if he had enough courage in him, he'd actually go for it. But now everything was in flux, because in a weird sense, he felt like he had completed a video game. He'd beaten the final boss, he made it till the very end. Now what was there left to do? Enjoy the end credits of his life? Of course, there was Rias. She was still sporting that eye patch from her battle with Riser Phoenix. Of course, the wound had long since healed, and there shouldn't have been nothing left but a scar. Rias was proud of her image, and she didn't want people to see her that way, but for Issei, he thought that she was still beautiful. Her confidence radiant no matter the situation. And for Rias, well, she had had her eyes on Issei for the longest time. Sure, under normal circumstances, she was always composed, yes, but there was something about Issei. That ruggedness, that gruffness, the way he looked in a black tank top when he was working and changing the oil in his car. Oh, God! The girl was fiending, and she wasn't the only one. Rainier, Akano, Zenobia, Asia, everyone seemingly wanted a piece of the new Issei. And now that he was free from his ghostwriter responsibilities, he had a lot more time on his hands. He was hanging around the Occult Research Club with the others, of course. Wasn't like he had anywhere else to be. More often than not, he could be found outside with his parked car working on his skyline. He would just be making tweaks here and there. Normal modifications, nothing of the supernatural sort. He even picked up a couple of ideas from Azazel, since he had his own car collection, and he offered a few suggestions. Yes, life seemed to be going well for everyone. Even Rainier had moved up in promotion. She went from being a 2-pawn servant to now a 4-pawn. That meant that Rias still had 4 more pawns in her possession, and if Issei would finally take her up on her offer, she was more than willing to give him the last 4 in a heartbeat. And Issei even agreed that he would join her parish someday, but he wasn't in any rush. No, for now, Issei was just taking his time. He didn't want to deal with any looming threats. He didn't want to deal with fighting the good fight. For now, he just wanted to try to enjoy some form of normalcy. However, in his life, asking for that, well, it's a lot easier said than done. It all started one afternoon as Issei had his car jacked up and he was working on something underneath along with Gasper, who was helping him out, when suddenly a swoosh of wind would fly past him. Immediately, Issei would be alerted as he felt the strong aura around him, a powerful presence. He looked up to see who it was, and he saw that there was a man entirely silver. He appeared to be on a surfboard. This silver man, this silver surfer, if you will, also sported with him a silver chrome helmet with wing tips on both sides. "Greetings, spirit of vengeance. Who's asking? And with all due respect, you might want to change into something a little less conspicuous. You are in the human world after all." "You're right. Where are my manners? I'm terribly sorry," the man said as he jumped off of his surfboard that hovered in the air. It disappeared instantly and turned into a keychain as he wrapped it around his neck before transforming into an older man who seemed to be dressed like he was heading to the beach. "Greetings and salutations. I am Hermes, herald of the god." "Wow, that's so cool," Gasper said. "What is that?" "This, my sacred gear, the silver glider. With it, I serve as the herald for the gods of Olympus." "Olympus, huh?" "Hermes," Azazel said as he walked out. "It's been forever if it's been a day. I haven't seen you since Monaco." "Azazel, you are in good spirits, my friend. How are you?" "I'm doing well. So, what brings the messenger of the gods to our humble abode?" "I come bearing much news, and I must speak with the member of the Grimmery household." "I see. I'll have some tea made for you. Issei, Gasper, would you care to join us?" Gasper was already heading inside, and Issei didn't have anything better to do. He decided to take a quick shower before changing and joining everyone else. Irina, Kiba, Zenobia, Rosvisa, all the members of the House of Grimmery were gathered together. As Issei joined them and Hermes took his seat, Rias would be showing her best in hospitality. As Issei took a seat on the couch next to Asya, who was happy to see him, everyone looked as Hermes commanded their attention. "So, to what do we bear this meeting, Hermes?" Azazel would ask. "Yes, I come because, Father, it seems as though the time has come." "What's wrong with Zeus?" Rias would ask. "Well, as you know, for us, while we live long lives, eventually they will come to an end. My father has served for a long time as the king of Mount Olympus, and he has fought in many a battle. Even compared to his brothers in Hades and Poseidon, he has fought in the fine fight. His fight was crucial against that of Kronos, and in the many battles that came. But as a result, the great flame is beginning to be extinguished." "What are you saying?" "In a short time, Zeus will move on to the next phase of his life." "The next phase?" Zenobia said. "Yes, I'm sure that everyone here is aware, but we gods, we come from the Kami realm." "The Kami realm?" Gasper said. "Yes," Azazel would explain. "There are 6 realms in total. There's the Earth realm, the Soul Society, Hueco Mundo, the Beast realm, the Kami realm, and then there's Hell, the real Hell." "But what's the Kami realm?" "The Kami realm is the realm of the gods. It's a dimension where all the gods come from, and in that dimension there are tinier dimensions, where everyone has their own space. Of course, when I say that, it makes it sound like they're all sharing a house. But really, a dimension, as big as it is, it's akin to its own universe in a way. It's a way for the gods to have their own anonymity, Rhea said. For example, in the Kami realm, our dimension, the underworlds, if you will, where the devils reign, is also occupied with heaven, where the angels come from, along with Mount Olympus, the home of the gods, Valhalla, and Asgard, the home of the Asgardians, and so on and so forth. But eventually, all of us as a species will die, and our souls will move on to the next realm. It can be any number of them depending on how we lived our lives. Some move to the soul society, some move to hell, some may even fall to Wicco Mundo. Where would Zeus go? Kiba would ask. Well, I will never say that my father was a saint, Hermes said. But I like to believe that there is a place for him in the soul society. Although, once he goes there, he will be reborn as someone else. But I can't believe it. Zeus will really be lost forever, Zenobia said. Yes. When the time comes, Zeus will become nothing more but a story of legend. But what brings you here? Akano would ask. Well, you see, when the time comes, a new leader of Mount Olympus must be chosen. Someone from the bloodline of Zeus. And not just the gods that share the thrones with him, but even demi-humans, those who possess any of his lineage. And that is why I have come, Hermes said with a smile, as he looked to Asya. Me? Yes, my dear. You have something very distinct with you. For you see, you are the last earthly descendant of Zeus on this planet. A collective gasp would be heard through the Occult Research Club. There was no way! Asya was the last of Zeus's bloodline on Earth? How was that even possible? Hermes would explain. Well, you see, Zeus, as I'm sure you know through the mythology, was a lover of many, we get it. Yes, women. He never met a pair of legs he didn't like. And so, he had a lot of children. But as time passed, regulations for us in Olympus became a lot more stricter. Well, to be more specific, Hera, my mother and his wife, she was not too fond of Zeus's infidelity. Asya, your ancestors were the last ones of the Zeus bloodline that were left on Earth. And we have tracked the genealogy. You are all that remains. But I was abandoned in a monastery. I don't understand. I'm connected to Zeus? Yes. As a great, double great, triple great, more greats on that of a granddaughter. But yes, you do share a lineage with Zeus. Perhaps this explains your abilities of your sacred gear, Rhea said. After all, for a human to be born with such talent, naturally, and to not have gained it through any artificial means, it means that your bloodline had to have come from somewhere. But Zeus? Asya said. This is a lot to take in. I mean, Mr. Hermes, sir, what am I? You are going to be requested to be at Olympus. When Zeus passes and a new ruler must be decided, you have a right to the throne, if you choose to accept it and if it falls to you. Oh, no, I could never. I don't qualify for such a thing. It can't be me. Rest assured, Miss Argento, Hermes would say. Nothing will be forced upon you. But still, this is a legal matter. All of Zeus's descendants, whether they be in the realm of the gods or even in the realm of earth, they all will have a share, an inheritance. As such, you will be required to be there, even if nothing falls to you, and you don't have to accept anything you don't want. There's no need to be scared, Asya, Zenobia would say. No matter what, we'll be there to support you. Yeah, and you could potentially become the Queen of Olympus or something like that, Irina said with a smile. Ah, Red Dragon Empress. To have you walking through our halls would be such a great honor. And Asya, that is potentially a possibility. But I must warn, there are others who covet the throne of Olympus. I would ask that if she has friends, that they come with her in full force. Will she be in danger? Issei asked. I am not one to speak disparagingly of my brothers and sisters, but I know very well that they are ones who seek their own power and fame and glory. Even if Asya herself does not see any reason of being a threat, to them, any loose end must be tied. Don't worry, Issei said to Asya. I don't care what god it is. They're not going to lay a finger on her. She didn't ask to be a descendant of Zeus. And even still, you're supposed to be family. There's no reason for them to mistreat her like that. She won't be alone if she decides to go. I promise you that. I believe your words. But still, the message is being made known. I can tell you that it will be an event unlike any other. For the throne to actually be passed, such magnitude has not happened since the last great war, when the god and the devil kings fell and new ones took their place. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a pain in the ass. But Olympus has good booze, so I gotta say, it'll be worth the journey. And for the cultural experience, Rosvisa said. Maybe she'll finally be able to get herself a man. And just like that, Rosvisa was now brought to tears. And it was going to be everyone else's problem. Of course, though, Asya was still worried about it all. I mean, it's one thing to learn that you have twilight healing. It's one thing to become a devil. It's a whole other thing to find out that you are a part of some ancient last bloodline to the god of Olympus who's slowly dying and will soon pass away, and you could potentially run the Mount of the Gods. Safe to say, she had a lot to contemplate at the moment. Issei would accompany her one day while she was sitting at the park. You mind if I sit with you? Oh, no, not at all. Please. What's on your mind? I don't know. I mean, look at me. I'm not. You don't have to worry, Asya. You don't need to put any pressure on yourself. This is all just a whole bunch of bureaucracy hoopla. Nothing more. Yeah, but still, what if the responsibility falls to me? I mean, I've never envisioned myself being the queen of anything, but at the same time, what if someone bad could potentially take over Olympus and cause harm to people? If that happened and I didn't do anything, then it would be my fault. It's a lot, I know, but Asya, you are the kindest, sweetest soul I have ever met. Personally, if there's anyone who would be worthy of being queen, it's definitely you. Your humble attitude, the fact that you don't see yourself as a ruler, but yet you still care for people that you don't even know. It shows that you have more of the qualities of a leader than anyone else. Whatever you decide, whatever you choose to do, we're going to be with you no matter what. Thanks, Issei. I know that I can get through anything with you next to me. As a reward, Asuya would steal a kiss from him when he wasn't looking. Issei would find himself turning red at this, and it wasn't because of flames. Whatever Asuya decided to do, Issei promised that he would be there for her, for any of his friends that needed him. But in order to face what was coming, he may have to take the next step. Later on that night, he would arrive to Rias's home. Issei. Hey, Rias. Mind if we talk? Sure, come in. Well, fancy. I wanted all of us to share a home together, but I didn't want to impose on you. Yeah, I'm not against it or anything. Still, I know that the other girls love to monopolize your time, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to do the same. I can always make time for you, Rias. There's no doubt about that. But why are you here? I'm sure you didn't come just to talk about furniture. No. But seeing your pretty face, I think that's more enough of a reason. Issei, what are you getting at? I mean, I've been so preoccupied doing God knows what for so long, Issei said, that I never really got a chance to thank you properly. I'm sorry. I'll stop teasing you. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. No. Yeah. No. I don't know. Damn it. What can I help you with? Your offer to join your household. Does it still stand? Of course it does. I've been waiting for you. I can't give you my full 8 pawns. I would have wanted to, but Rainier, she's really proved herself, and I thought promoting her to 4 would be... It's fine. I've just been doing some research about the system, and I think that that's the type of boost in power I'd be willing to take. So you're doing it for power? Yeah. But power is what I need to protect the people that are closest to me. I don't know what the future holds. And I don't know what's going to happen next. But I know that whatever it does, I need the power to face it. I have a feeling, Issei said. I have a feeling that there are stronger people out there. If I've learned anything, I've learned that we're not alone in this world, or any world. There are others. And if I'm not strong enough to face them, I'll get left in the dust. Issei. So I'm ready to take that next step, if you'll let me. I'll fight beside you all. You can count on me and my power. He took her hands into his as he slowly reached for the eye patch that covered her eye. No, wait. I know I'm still... Slowly he would peel it away, revealing what he already knew. The scar had long since faded. There were hardly any traces of it left. As she opened her other eye to meet his, What do you think? I think that you're as beautiful now as the day I first laid my eyes upon you. That's something that Riser could never change. The two would share in the embrace of a kiss. A kiss that lingered. As Issei would prepare himself for what was to come, knowing that this was the next step in his journey. For so long he had fought for others, but now he would fight for himself and what he wanted, for the future in his own hands. In the meantime, in the halls of Olympus, Hera stepped out of the quarters of Zeus, who lied on his bedside. The man whom she had loved and cherished, now slowly withering away. Perhaps this was divine karma, the intervention of fate, judging him for all of his past transgressions. Of course, even in his feeble moment, she knew better than to challenge him. No, do not be mistaken even for a moment. If any god were to raise their hand against Zeus, even in his current condition, they would most certainly fall. He was just that strong, even on the verge of death. You can only imagine the sort of beast he was in his prime. But no, Hera had more pressing matters. When Zeus fell, people would scramble for the throne, and she had already decided who would take it. The rightful heir. He has denied you for so long, my child. Till now you are nothing more but a memory in my dreams. And yet you call out to me. I have not forgotten you, nor have I abandoned you. You will take your rightful place on your father's throne. Hera spoke as if she whispered to a dream. My firstborn, Yami, the king of dreams, the ruler of nightmare. In the meantime, Hermes, who had now returned, was greeted at the halls by none other than Ares, the god of war. For a messenger who prides himself on speed, you sure take your merry time about it, brother. Ares, as lively as ever. I take it that you're cleaning your weapons after another conquest? But of course, for what is the world without war? A better one. Watch your tongue when you say such things. You went to the human world. Why? To announce the coming of our Father and of a new dawn in Olympus. You were speaking to that girl, weren't you? She is a part of the family. Barely. But tell, is her boyfriend going to come? The rider, you mean? He seems very protective of her. I don't think you want to get on his bad side, Ares. Please. The one time I missed some good action on Earth, and he's the one who finally kills Blackheart? That's not something that can be looked over. Aren't you just a little bit curious about what he's capable of? I admit, he is quite powerful, but it's dangerous to poke at the spirit of vengeance. With a name like that, he sounds like fun. To be honest, I could care less about who takes Pop's throne. But it does give opportunity. You know about the peace treaty that he signed. You are not to stoke the ires of war against the other coalitions. The devils, the angels, the fallen angels, hell. Even Odin and the rest of Asgard have sided with them. Tell me, will you really launch a war against all of the gods? It's in my nature. If I deny myself now, then I'll never be where I want to be. I was born for war. There are so many powerful people out there. And yet, for so long, I've been handcuffed because of father. I can't go to the beast realm, Waco Mundo, hell. I know that there are people in the Soul Society egging for a fight. And I want one too. Be careful of how you speak, Ares. He is still your king. For now. Soon, Anu will sit on the throne. And his will be carried out throughout all of Olympus. And your will, Ares, the will of war, that is what I want. And if I must take the throne, then so be it. This concludes High School DxD Spirit of Vengeance. What if Issei was the Ghost Rider? Season 5, Part 1. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned tomorrow evening as we continue with High School DxD Spirit of Vengeance. What if Issei was the Ghost Rider? Season 5, Part 2. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.